Good morning, Ajay.
Morning,
It's very nice to be here and talking to you again about things. I think our last video actually helped a lot of people. In fact, I had this friend who was, in fact, that day itself, the day we shot it, was going for an interview, and I suggested they have a look at it. And honestly, I think the entire approach towards that video changed. So I think for our viewers who don't know what we're talking about, they can see that which video we're talking about, and we've shared a link below. Anyway, today I think we'll get down to the brass tacks. Every time I have a conversation with you, I keep there's this recurring theme. It's about Mauj, and your website is called MaujLO. Your the book that you're writing right now is called MaujLO. Your entire philosophy of tackling anything in life comes from MaujLO. So I think it helps for this video that for our viewers, I think they should be able to understand and relate with what exactly do you mean by MaujLO. So we'll break that down. I think as far my understanding goes, in Hindi, whenever we use the word lo, it acts as a verb, like take Mauj essentially. So before MaujLO, let's break down what does Mauj mean.
Mauj means. So, Dhruv, basically, Mauj is nothing but a sense of joy, right? Now, everybody, on planet, who's whatever is doing or not doing, sleeping, eating, working, etc., they're essentially doing in order to sort of get the joy, get something which will give them joy, okay, or give up something. Let's say losing weight will give them some joy, okay. So any endeavor of any human, okay, or for that matter animals also, right, whatever they do is essentially only with one objective, which is the fact that they want to enjoy, okay. Now, there are different ways people can get that sense of joy, but the irony is that people are not feeling joyful, even though their inherent, sort of say, aim of every human being is to have a sense of joy in whatever they do. And that's a huge conundrum, I find, right? The objective is to, enjoy life, but people struggle to enjoy life, and that's what, the whole concept of MaujLO, I thought we should conceive it and at least share through my own personal stories, the stories that I saw, in my life, how some people were able to live joyfully most of the time, if not all the time. So Mauj, coming back to the definition of Mauj essentially means having a sense of joy. I mean, in yourself, and
so let's use examples also. So, for example, there are many people who I think identify their goals quite early, especially around the time I think you're starting to go to college, or at least when you start going to high school, where you have to pick subjects and all, and people start deciding that where their life is going to go, right? And that's where they make some choices. And as you rightly said, they are obviously joy maximizing, right? I mean, everything you're saying is backed by hardcore foundation of economics, which essentially says we are utility maximizing animals, right? So let's say as an average kid today either aspires to make a lot of money or wants to become a celebrity, so seeks fame, and there are more than enough examples that when we go about life, we do get money, but we always end up wanting more, and that entire pursuit of it is not always happy. And a goal that we think will make us happy, we pursue it, achieve it, and yet we are not happy. So I want to understand that when you keep saying Mauj, here people are trying to achieve their goals, they achieve it and yet they're not happy. So how is that different?
So essentially, they're not seeking money for the money. Okay, they are seeking money because, or power or whatever, because they have an understanding in their head that through money they will be able to do something, and that doing something will give them joy. Okay. So all these so-called goals are a step number 2 or step number 3 or step number 4 towards having a sense of joy. So the Mauj, actually, every action, every endeavor, a positive or negative endeavor, if people can actually take with the goal of, okay, whether this is going to give them joy or not, can actually solve a lot of dilemmas in their life. Now, if you have a very indirect way of, a very long distance way of claiming joy, then there are various risks that might exist in order for you to complete those steps successfully or not. Then
so for example,
let's say money, right? Say money.
Let's say someone wants to become a data scientist. That's a big fact today, right? And they think that's going to give them joy. So can you describe this? How is that? How many steps away is that from actually getting joy?
So let us say you want to become data scientist because if data scientist is a kind of a job, there's a huge demand for that, and people are shelling out big dollars, and therefore you should go for data scientist. Yes, that's one way to sort of get driven. To fact that okay, I choose to become a data scientist, and therefore I'll get a big job, and big job will mean more money, and with more money I'll be able to buy a house, and in my house I will be able to get 15 friends, my friends,
so all my
and therefore,
material and worldly dreams will get
that moment will be the most joyous moment for me in my life. Okay, now that's
at least
thing,
5-6
right?
steps away.
5-6 steps away. Now, whereas somebody may say that look, data scientist is a great is a skill which is hugely in demand. I want to become data scientist because it will get me a job very quickly. The moment I get a job, I'll become very happy, no matter whichever company, no matter whichever salary, how much salary they're going to give me. I just need to be able to get a job which will help me go deeper into the data science part of it. Therefore I want to do that. Clearly that's there are only two-step process: finding a job, data science job, and then getting the job, and then having the sense of joy. Now, if you have that as a goal only, then you will become happy only even after you got the job. You may not really worry about how much salary you're getting, etc., because you don't have a goal of having a big house and having a dream house. It may come, it may not come, but you're not really worried about it because you're essentially seeking to do something where you want to maximize your joy, let's say, every hour that you spend in a day, and every hour if you end up doing data science job which gives you a lot of joy, that's a more
I think that really
more prudent way of decision making to remain in Mauj, as compared to having a 10-step process of having that Mauj.
I think it's very logical as well. I mean, the simplest way to put it is that the thing that is actually going to make you happy, the further away it is from you, how many steps it actually takes to get at it, obviously there's going to be more there's more inertia, there's more friction, there's a lot of time and patience that you need to get to there, and it may still not come. And since you've already invested so much time and effort into it, if it doesn't come, you're definitely very unhappy. Except in a situation where, let's say, just by doing this I'll get happy, that seems fairly logical that should be your ideal goal.
Right. So the concept of Mauj, this is at a one level. For example, you make choices based on what you enjoy doing or you don't enjoy doing, and therefore you actually live joyfully. Now, sometimes even after you have tried very hard, you don't get the job. Let's say we just taking the same example of a data scientist. Now, if you don't get a job, despite you've tried very hard, now, does it mean that you become less joyful? Therefore, your Mauj goes for a toss and you become depressed.
So that was going to be my next question, is that is someone in Mauj, see, no one can always be happy, right? But I think somewhere I've read on your website itself that someone can always be in Mauj. So I think, can you decouple the notion of happiness and Mauj? Like, is someone in Mauj, do they never get sad?
So essentially, no, definitely not. So let me answer that very straight. Somebody who's in Mauj doesn't mean that he does not get sad. Okay. Somebody who's in Mauj is okay being sad.
Okay. Can you explain that further?
For example, let us say, now this being okay sense can come if you have very deep sense of understanding of how this whole world works. Okay, you're not the only piece in the whole world, right? You're just one speck in the whole world, right? But your sense of enjoying joy or Mauj solely rests on you. Now, if you understand that, look, data science is something which is, something that you love to do, you tried very hard, but maybe the companies who want the job is located in some other country, or maybe there are other people who are better than you, or maybe the fact that, there are some restrictions because of which you're not able to get that job that you want. What I'm saying is that in order for you to get something, means you don't have that, right? It actually belongs to somebody else's job. You don't own. Somebody creates that job, and therefore somebody has to give it to you. If you have a sense of understanding that what doesn't belong to you, it belongs to somebody else, and that somebody else is not in your control, and therefore, how strongly can you possibly believe that I should get a data scientist job? Okay. Somebody who understands that I do not control, so therefore will say, I am going for a job, okay, if I get it, I get it, if I don't get it, it's fine, because I tried my best. It doesn't come, it doesn't come. Let me go and find my joy through some other means, right? So having a sense of an understanding that whatever you're wanting is not in your hand, somebody else has to give it to you, and that somebody else is not in your control. Therefore, you assign a very limited probability to that thing coming to you. And if you assign very limited probability, if it comes to you or doesn't come to you, at least in your head, you're not going to get a sense of sadness prevailing over you that, oh, you didn't get it. Now that's the kind of knowledge and so to say, now in other words called wisdom, that should be there in somebody's head. Now that's another layer of being in Mauj. Now not everybody can have that, because my personal belief is that there can't be one rule fit all approach. Every human being is very different. Now some people may be very, very target oriented. They just don't get driven unless they see a target. And they won't be able to work hard if they know that this is the data scientist job they want, and no matter what they have to have it. They try very hard, and they despite all their efforts, they're not getting their job, and they go into deep sadness, and they get little jittery, they lose confidence. Now the philosophy of Mauj actually would say that if you are sad by the fact that you didn't get the job, it's okay. Be happy with your sadness. Don't try to kill yourself to say, oh, because of me not being up to the mark, or somebody being better than me, or somebody trying to play politics. Don't try to ascribe reasons for why you didn't get that particular job. It's okay if you didn't get the job, you feel sad about it. Fine, enjoy that moment of feeling low, but then
accept it essentially.
Yeah, enjoy that, and then if you realize that okay, if you don't fight with it, it will eventually go away. Something else will come in your life and you'll go away. But the moment you keep thinking about it again and again and again and again, it is going to be somewhere leave a scar on your psyche, and which will help you sort of reclaim, or let's just see the other things that are happening around your life, and even the sense of joy will go away, at least other things which are happening around you. So just in that sense, as you said, observe how you are reacting, what actions are you taking, how much of a motivation you have, what happens if you don't get the things that you want, and how do you sort of react to the whole piece. If you can just observe, that's the true sense of living in Mauj all the time. So Mauj does not necessarily means that you can't be sad, you can't be depressed.
Yeah, because life is up and down. Sometimes you're happy, sometimes you're not. Sometimes things go your way, sometimes they don't. But I think what I think I understand that either way, it's entirely up to us how we react to it and how we can choose to enjoy it. We don't necessarily have to celebrate our sadness, but we don't have to get so brought down by it also that it overpowers our entire being. Okay, before I think we go, there's just one tiny little thing, because whenever I've spoken to someone about MaujLO as an entire philosophy, there has been this one particular recurring question or sort of a myth that I think people have built around it. It's that when you say ki bhai Mauj mein raho, mast raho, there's this whole casual connotation to it. It's about it's all good, life will happen, nothing's in my control anyway, all of that. So I think, can you just clarify that very quickly about whether is MaujLO about being just casual about life and taking it easy?
Right. So there are two aspects with you. So when you are trying to get something, okay, when you're trying to do something, do it with all the passion. And when it comes to looking at the outcomes, first of all, that's where I would say be casual about it.
Okay. Got it. Because no one can actually work casually and still expect to see great results, right?
Absolutely not.
Got it. Yeah, I think.
So casual means casual about the outcome, because fundamentally it's not in your control. Correct. Because if things are not in your control, how can you be so serious about it, right? If you love somebody and if the other person doesn't love you back, doesn't necessarily mean that but you should kill yourself, okay? Or you should actually hold that person responsible, and try to kill him or kill her, right? So the fact of the matter is, whether any endeavor of your life and you assign your happiness to achieving something, that's my biggest problem. The reason why people are not able to appreciate Mauj is because they always have goal-centric way to lead life. If they have goals in life, that's when they sort of say they have meaning in life, so to say. Apparently people have been told that, oh, you are leading a meaningless life, it's no different than living like animals and stuff like that. I feel that if people should have only one goal in life, which is to have a conscious, I would say, heightened awareness of how the world works, how you work, and have no fixed notions about life. Essentially, you are well set to have a joyful life. 24 hours in a day. That's the crux of the whole thing.
Got it. Well, thanks a lot for sharing your thoughts, Ajay. I think we're going to dive deep into a lot of core MaujLO concepts. I think I'd want our users to, share in our comment section stuff that, where do you get your Mauj? And I think if we have enough, replies, we'll be able to do a live video where Ajay can answer a lot of questions around whether what you're chasing, what you think is making you happy, if it is at all the immediate thing that will make you happy, or are there further many steps removed from your true happiness. Just share your thoughts around what makes you happy, what doesn't make you happy. Even achieving your goals sometimes makes you unhappy. Share your stories, and I think Ajay would be very prompt in at least answering those comments in the section. And if you liked our video, do like it, click that little thumbs up, share it with your friends, and subscribe to this channel because we have a lot more MaujLO videos coming up. Thank you, Ajay. Until next time. Okay, MaujLO.
Thanks. Thanks. Mauj.